Good morning, students. It's a pleasure to introduce you to Mr. Mahipal Saran. He's an alumni of 2001-2004 batch and graduated from Triple IM and now doing wonders in California. Sir is working in VMware. And as for the today's topic is concerned, sir will be talking about like when you all are out from your college and are graduating, we usually start exploring that what this outside world looks like. And this is an open forum to express our views because as per sir and definitely all of us believe that there is no right or wrong when you start making your own decisions. It is your decision which you should stick to. So this is all what Mr. Mahipal will be talking to us all about. The stage is yours, sir.
Thank you so much, Priyanka ma'am, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. This is Mahipal Saran, and I hope everybody is doing well, especially during this unprecedented time because of the COVID. Yeah. So the first question comes, when we are on the brink of getting passed out from either MCA or MBA, and then the next question haunts us is, what is next? What I should be doing is, we start looking at our peers or fellows. We have also guidance from the seniors, and then we have expectation from the family. So there are a lot of things goes into this overall planning and then choosing the right step. So as we talked in the past, there's no decision which is wrong or right. uh, so what you should be doing, or in terms of what how we should be basically approaching the overall the framework, is something we can definitely talk in this open forum. We will have 10 to 15 good minutes at the end of the session where you can ask your questions, where I will try to add my thoughts to it. The first few minutes I'll just like walk down my memory lane, how it happened, and then few things from your basics, like if you think of a launch pad, what are the ground rules you need to cover. And then the field which I can speak about, where I'm working from last 10 to 15 years, it's the marketing automation and analytics. So that's, I thought I will also give an insight about how this field looks like from the outside in standpoint. What are the different roles you can find into that particular field. And then we will give a good time also on a few principles which I followed personally. It could differ from person to person. There is again, no ground rule. But if you think it fits to your mindset, or if you can take some positives out of that, feel free to pick those. But this is pretty much what I could summarize my 15 years. And then, again, I said, I'm not a natural speaker, but I thought if in any of your step, I think I would treat this webinar as like win for me. So that's the level set before we go ahead. Walking down memory lane from a small town called Sujangarh, which is near to Salasar Balaji in Churu district. I did my schooling there quite okay until grade 12th, first division. But in the graduation, I know everyone have their different preferences. So focused on a lot of other like games and other things. So I could not complete my graduation like even the first grade. Again, another call out is my graduation was in mathematics, and again from the Hindi medium. Then I enrolled into masters from Triple IM in 2001 to 4 batch, passed out with flying colors. One of the interesting thing happened is in my batch, I got married in the age of 22. So that time I was in MCA third semester. So it was a surprise for me, and as well as my batchmates also. Then the time came for the campus interview, where I think in 2005, sometime July, there were only few companies came. I remember there were 3 of them. And then what they were shooting for out of the 50 batch, like close to 8 to 10 people they were supposed to be. So again, on the MCA, I was like quite an average student. I will touch upon a few things, how the campus interview went, and then the journey started in terms of the professional career, where my first job started in Pune, in a startup, where I started doing my development work on the open source platforms. That time when like you are age of like 24, 25 in that time frame, a lot of things goes into your mind, right? So you have to have the right frame. Also, you need to really sort out your priorities or maybe align your priorities with your thought process and as well as the goals. We'll talk about all those things. And then you also need to understand your support system. Who is going to support you in the best way? Uh, in terms of, when you kind of look for and listening ear, or when you look for any kind of, suggestions or mentoring, who should you reach out to? We'll talk about all those things, but why I'm saying is these things have played an important role when I stepped into professional career. Now, when I was talking about the launchpad, my definition of launchpad is more of the raw material what you need to have before you really start cruising on your journey. So if I look back and then try to summarize, I like listed down few points. The first one is you have to have your own definition of success. Okay, nobody is going to tell you. If I am telling you something, this is success, it might not fit you. You have a different strengths, you have different skills, you have a different ecosystem. So basically what you need to do is you need to have your own definition of success. And once you define it, it requires backing, right? If you say, okay, this is what I want to do in next 5 years down the line, 10 years, 15 years, you need to back your decision. No decision is bad or good, but at least you need to stick to it. The agility aspect is there, but you can always fine tune your criteria for the success. That's a very, very important thing. The second thing is the groundwork. So I was mentioning about the campus interviews. Out of 50 students, I think close to 10 were supposed to be picked up. The first company came, and the history was I didn't do anything exceptionally. The only thing I did is like the company which came, I just researched the company, what they are doing, why they are doing, okay, what are they looking for. So basically, the only thing you need to tell them is what they want to hear. Where would you fit into their game plan? It's not about your skill or strengths. It's about what do they need, right? And then for any preparation, any interview, any kind of exam, you need to have your groundwork very well done. Okay, there is no replacement of it. Right attitude. Uh, Always see the half glass full. I have seen it. I hardly remember any time, even if there is a one sip of water in the glass, I looked at that one sip of water and thought, okay, this is something can help, maybe just to take care of your thirst, or it can be useful in some way. I never looked at the empty aspect of it. The other important thing is all of you have a lot of connections, references, friends, seniors. Find them well, okay, and once you find them, farming is all about finding a mutual respect for each other, okay. You take the guidance from them and then enable them, so it's basically just having a very well healthy relationship with your connection and references. Milestones are super, super important. Whatever you do in your life, or maybe whatever you plan, even for a small thing, just set some milestones. If you are going for a campus interview, just set the milestone that, okay, I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4 things, and this is the time frame I'm looking at it, and then just do the groundwork to achieve those. Another important aspect is you are the only one who knows what is the uniqueness in you. Okay, no one else is going to find it. So identify your USP, and once you find it out, you can brand yourself. So I can relate very similar scenario with me is, so far you would be surprised being an MCA guy, I never printed a hello world in Java or .NET. Okay, it's been like 5 years of 4 years of college, 16 years of career. everybody thinks, Java or .NET, you need to pick one of them. I haven't done it so far. But what I did basically is, I found what I am good at. Okay. I started my development in open source using Apache, PHP, Linux, and all those things. But I was coding into some different language. Okay. I was not so good at into, writing the code, but I was good in the pseudology. I was good in the HTML or scripting part. I was good in the email writing. So the only thing is you need to find your USP and then scale on that. But there is no compulsion that you need to pick a particular technology or you need to pick a particular platform. And I remember my days in my first startup, the first 3 to 4 months, somebody was doing the coding on my behalf and I was writing the email for everybody in the team. So then I got to know, okay, I can write good emails. Let's go ahead with that. Maybe you could be a good analyst in the future. You could be a good functional person in the future. So identify your USP, only you can find it. Other important thing is, when you start for any kind of journey, you need to find your circle. You need to draw your circle. Which one is your inner circle, which is like the close friends or family or your support system, which I was talking about. And then there is an extended circle, which is also being consulted when you need an additional help. So you need to really define, okay, these 5 people are my inner circle, those 10 are my extended circle, and then the rest of the world. And then you need to work in that system so that, you are protected. You are also, don't get any ill advice. You also make right decisions. You also can verify with your inner circle or extended circle. That's how you approach the overall. So far, so good. So those are the precursors before we start launching your career. Now we'll spend a few minutes in the field which I am working, where I can speak at least at a good amount. I'll just give you some insights about it, what this field is, and how I'm enjoying it. So I think all of you so far know, websites, and then, there are applications, platforms, apps, products, multiple things are there. But in general, what we are talking about is if I run a business, what I want is I need more and more leads to buy my products and services. How can I do it? I could be a manufacturing company. I could be a retail company. I could be a banking system. I could be, any particular domain. Now, if I have to sell some product and services, I need my marketing department to come up with a game plan or a strategy where I can target people. I can reach out to my, potential customers, and that's where the tools and technology part comes in handy. So essentially, marketing automation is nothing but a particular space under the marketing umbrella where you have different channels. Like it could be an email channel, it could be your website as a digital channel, it could be a banner ad, it could be an event, it could be a social channel. So multiple channels are there in the market which connects a product or service with the potential leads or the customers. So the way it works is let's example, you must be receiving a lot of emails from the banks, right, regarding particular offers and all this. Why are they doing that? Because they want you to go through their offer, their listing, so that you become interested in them. So first is you are a stranger for them, and once you start maybe filling out a particular form or maybe download something, you become the lead for them, and then they start getting conversation with you that okay, what exactly your requirements are there, can we give you this particular product. So essentially everyone wants more and more leads, and there are a lot of platforms. I'll just flash those platforms. But if you think of a regular use case, you do an activity on a particular website or on an email, you fill a particular form, you become their potential contact, and then they are engaged with you in a constant way to really make sure you don't kind of opt out from their product, or you make a decision to buy their product or service. Once you buy it, you become the lead for them. So these are just the terminologies which you may have heard of. I listed down specifically so that you can Google it offline, and you can also look at how this field looks like. Okay, what marketing automation is it? Like more of a campaign management, where you, based on your requirement, your interest, I send you a relevant email with proper personalization. So if you get two emails, one is the generic email, or the other email which talks about your name, some of the things you have done on the website, and then what do you need. So your personalized email makes a different impact, correct? Then once somebody is engaged for that product or service, you want to keep nurturing them. You want to either sell, like if you bought one product, you want to kind of offer you another product, or we want to maybe cross skill, upskill. A lot of other things are there. So essentially, these are just the keywords for your reference, but these keywords will help you understand this domain a little bit more. What is the lead funnel? How the funnel is working? What is the top of the funnel? What is middle of the funnel? What is bottom of the funnel? How everything converts from a stranger to a client, right? What kind of actions they do? And then the platform things also comes in the picture, where there is a content aspect of it, where somebody has to work on the email content or a digital content. There is analytics aspect where you get the data of activity data, what everyone is doing on their platform or their channel. You kind of massage the data, you mine the data, and then come up with the insights that, hey, these are my potential customer, I should reach out to them differently. And then whatever the money you invest on that particular initiative, you also want to see which initiative gave me much better results, so that I put more money in that initiative. So again, this slide is just to give an idea what this field is all about, how things are working, what different terminologies are there in terms of the workflow. You capture somebody's visit, you try to segment on those visits, you target them through a specific channel, you analyze their data, and then you kind of do the retrospection or a feedback mechanism by which you can keep refining your approach in general. So this is the field which is giving me bread and butter from last 8 to 10 years. First 5 years was little like just trying out different aspects of IT, but then it's like little bit streamlined from last few years. Now with this particular field, or it could be any generic field, but I think I can better speak to this particular field, what kind of career options are there or the roles you can do here. So I will list down a few keywords, and you can with your own. And that's what I was saying. Where is your unique selling function is there, so that you can pick the right option. And it could be applicable to any other, any other job role as well. So product specialist or owner. So if you think you have very good knowledge, or you have a knack about understanding the product, their workflows, their features, you could develop yourself into the product specialist or a product owner, which I've started doing from last 8 to 9 months. If you think you have a good business processes, understanding how the data exchange works, what kind of sales processes are there, what marketing processes are there. On the functional side, you could be a functional lead or architect. You can also do the product or platform administration. I just listed down a few platforms which are related to this marketing automation. But whatever the field you are talking about, or the domain you are talking about, there could be different platforms there. But these are some of the platforms where you can also find an opportunity to be a platform administrator. So you just understand how this platform works, what are the different features, workflow, configurations, all of those things. So you just like act as a platform specialist there. You could be a system analyst, which is more of a generic, where you have an understanding of your marketing system, sales system, your data systems, and all of those. So it's like more of a generic role there. If you are good at on the data side, you could be a data analyst or a scientist. If you are good on the domain, especially let's talk about marketing or sales or any other manufacturing domain, you could be a domain expert where you understand the nitty-gritty details of the domain, the different jargons, different terminologies. So you could be a champion on that side as well. If you think you are a very good demonstrator, storyteller, you could find yourself into a business enabler role as well. And if you think you are a champion in terms of coding or developing the things, you could be a technical evangelist as well. And then if you think you are pretty good in terms of logical or critical thinking, you could develop some robust workflows. You could be an automation workflow specialist as well. So why I am listing all those dimensions is just to connect the thought that it's not just one thing like Java or .NET developer or just QA works. There could be 8 to 10 different variations in terms of the role you can still find using the same technology, using the same domain. Okay, so just think a little bit wider, and you have an opportunity wherever your USP is. This is how I can summarize the overall landscape in terms of the professional environment, where there is always a decision making, which path you need to follow. There are coaches. It could be your team lead, it could be your manager, it could be your business partner, it could be anyone. You could be supporting your customers. Sometimes you need to support your in-house clients. Sometimes you're talking about the external people also. You need to have some defined goals, because without goals, it's very hard to measure a particular initiative or a particular program. There is a training aspect where we have to kind of keep upgrading ourselves, where what trainings to take and all that. We need to be motivated, be it somebody recognize our effort, or we basically recognize somebody else's effort. So it's always a positive variable which has to be there always. And then there is an advice piece. You get it from your peers. And then there is a success piece where you celebrate your journey, or whenever you release a particular product or a new platform, you always tend to celebrate with the team part of it. So why I'm telling all those things is they are clearly connected. How you basically uh, pursue your landscape. Always have the use case centric approach. When I say use case centric approach, means you need to understand the project or the application or the platform you are developing, what use cases it is enabling. Okay, once you start thinking from the use case standpoint, it gives you different edge. Okay, the second thing is we typically have a mindset that as soon as somebody tells about their problem, we start solving it. How? We say, okay, we can do this, we can code this way, we can use this platform. No. What I understood basically from my different experiences, first thing we should be asking why we are solving that problem. Okay, once we understand why, we understand the rationale, what is the pain point there. And then what are my starting point? What is the information I need to start with before I come to the solutioning part of it? So always ask why and what before we start how. How can wait for the some time. Okay. Always retrospect and refine your approach, because if you keep doing with the same approach, it will be same result. So if something is not working in your favor, what it means is it's time to go back, retrospect, and refine the approach. Always helpful. And the last thing is the critics or the customer feedback is essential. Even if your customer doesn't provide a feedback, I would suggest keep asking them for the feedback, because that is the best thing by which you can improve your own system or the application or anything what you have developed for that. Okay. So that's the landscape which I kept on following for a long, and it's working. So thought of sharing with you all. Now the interesting part, I don't know, this is typically a professional keyword where we say run book. Run book is a detailed guideline or a document which talks about a particular project or a particular function, where you list down each and every minor thing. Okay, and then you pass the run book. It's more of a document which you always keep updating, and you pass it on to whoever, let's say, you transition to. So run book is always a reference to understand the system. And then I just thought of connecting it a little back, which one of the thing I always followed is you have get to learn to walk before you start running. You directly cannot run. So why we are saying walking is important because we need to have our launch pad ready before we really jump from anywhere. So in terms of the foundational things, never rush. Okay, never rush for the things. No fear of missing out. Even if you take a baby step, they work as a stepping stone for your future. So small step is still important. Okay? No work is bad. I have learned it.
You may also
The
find
first-
yourself in a situation, right, where you have multiple credential strategy for different scenarios. On-prem, going LDAP. On the cloud, doing something else. Application, integrating with something else. Something else, integrating with a third-party social provider. Many different elements you have to kind of integrate together. Gone are the days of SSO. Log in once, and then you pretty much don't have to log in ever again, depending on your credential or your...
Okay. Are we back? Hello. Priyanka ma'am, are we good now?
We are fine. Yes,
Okay,
I can
good.
hear you, sir.
Okay, cool. So I was again telling no work is bad. First 5 years, I don't know what exactly I was doing, but I was working on anything or everything which was passed on to me. So, but I can correlate in my next 10 years that whatever the work I have done in the first 5 years, every work done counted somewhere. Okay, so no work is bad. Telling you guys, it's my personal experience. If you got a task or an assignment, just sit and finish. Once you do it in one sitting, it's a different confidence booster. If you keep kind of procrastinating or pushing it for the like morning, evening, or maybe the next day, it doesn't really go well. Any approach, just keep it super simple. Never overcomplicate the things. As far as you can, for any algorithm, right? If you can have a simple way, do that. Complication need not to be really enforced. Whatever you do, the mix of the activity is very important. Why I'm saying mix of the activity is, let's say you are a developer, right? You keep writing the code. It's good. You can be a master in that. But if you mix your approach with with some good documentation, I've seen like developers saying, "Hey, I don't want to document the things. I don't like it." It's okay. You don't like it, but think of you don't like one vegetable or one fruit or one place to visit, right? You want to go different places. You want to eat different things. Same way, if your professional career is having a good mix of activities, it's a different thing. Okay, one thing is what I have seen is something is doesn't work, it keeps you very very kind of isolated in general. Always try to give it back. If you get a help from somebody, think of an opportunity where you can help it back. The other thing is there's always a debate. You should be a man of value. Okay, but I found much more important is a man of a value. If you keep delivering the value incrementally, the success is going to follow by its own. Okay, and then the risk management. Even if you're developing a small piece of code, or if you are like analyzing a particular requirement, or if you are doing anything in general in your life, always keep the risk management aspect prepared for that. Now, this another aspect of runbook is the always on thing. So these left sides of things you do foundationally well. The right side of things are like continual things. So think of a train where you want to go to your hometown and then you didn't get a seat, right? You don't have a reservation. What would you do? You'll try to find somebody who can probably give you some space. You can sit, and then in the night you try to get some place to sleep, right? So what you did, you didn't compromise it. What you did, you adopted to the situation. You became agile. Okay, you negotiated with people. So that's what I'm trying to say. No need to compromise on your career or on your skills. Instead, adopt to it. If there's a new technology coming or if there's a new platform coming, uh, if the work demands the things to be done in different way, align yourself. Okay, if you do the alignment part correct, you're good. So I'll give you one example. A person have a metal object. Let's say it's Hindi में बोलते हैं लोहा, right? And then outcome is to make a sound. And you have been given an option to choose another object. It could be a wood, it could be another metal, it could be glass, it could be plastic, clay, fiber, anything. Now, what would you pick? Would you pick a paper and then just like kind of hit it? You won't make a sound. You won't pick even clay. What would rather you pick is metal or maybe a wood, which can make the sounds, because the outcome is to make a sound. So the reason I'm just giving this example is you have to align what is needed. Okay, you can't keep doing your stuff. If you have just a piece of paper or a fiber which doesn't make a sound, you have to keep that with you. Instead, you start find a wood or maybe a different material just to make a sound. That's what I learned. You have to be really, really aligned. Positive attitude, flexibility always matters. You have to be really flexible. Flexible like a water. If you pour it in a glass or if you pour it in a ball, it just takes its shape, right? So you have to have really positive, flexible attitude. Or maybe you have seen like different yoga asana, right? You could keep yourself healthy with one asana as well, but if you have a flexible approach, you learn like 5-10 different things. That makes it much more diverse, or okay, that makes it much more easier for you to be interested into the thing. So always be flexible. Train your mind. Train your mind, when I say, is you have to have your mindset correct, and then you can scale it. So I always correlate with one thing you must have seen. हिंदी में जब बोलते हैं ना कि ध्रुव तारा आसमान में होता है. So it's always a source of light, in the sense, it is distinguishable. वो दिखता है दूर से. So aim to be a ध्रुव तारा in your own definition of success. How you can be a ध्रुव तारा in your definition. Okay. Most important thing I have understood in the whole 15 years is understand what is temporary, what is permanent. I'm sure some of you have interest in cricket, right? People keep saying, hey, somebody is not having good form. The form is temporary. The class is permanent. So what is permanent? The skill, the class. Now let's relate to the professional environment. What is temporary? What is permanent? Technology, product. A technology, B product. They all are temporary. They will keep changing it, right? What your permanent thing is your domain. If you're in marketing or you're in sales, retail, manufacturing, understanding the domain knowledge is permanent.